You wake up in your bed. The lights, the room, everything seems normal until it doesn't. Suddenly you wake up again. The first awakening, a dream. False awakenings, when the dream world disguises itself as reality, can be disorienting, fascinating, and surprisingly useful. In this video, I'm going to dive into what false awakenings are, what dream research has to say about them, how you can recognize the signs that you are in a false awakening, and most importantly, how you can use false awakenings to improve your lucid dreaming practice. I'm Kyle. This is Discover Lucidity. Let's get into it. A false awakening is when you dream of waking up, often in a realistic version of your bedroom or home, but you're still asleep. Everything can feel almost perfect. The lighting, the layout, even small details you see every morning. That's what makes them so convincing. They often follow a natural sleep cycle pattern. Research from the dream psychologist Celia in the 1960s described two types, one that's calm and routine, and another that's more intense, often mixed with unusual or unsettling elements. Both can loop, where you wake up over and over without realizing you're still dreaming. Common signs: you might go through your morning routine, notice something slightly off, or feel a vague heaviness in your body, but unless you're paying attention, it's easy to mistake them for real life until you finally wake up for real. False awakenings tend to appear during transitions between REM periods, the stages of sleep when vivid dream happens. They're especially common when REM is ending, but the brain isn't ready to fully wake up, so it creates a bridge scene that feels like waking life. In a 2006 study published in Dreaming, psychologist Caroline Horton suggested that false awakenings may be the brain's way of rehearsing the act of waking up, a kind of mental dry run. This could explain why they're often tied to routines, like getting out of bed or making breakfast. They're also more likely after lucid dreaming fades. The mind can slip into false awakenings as a sort of reset, especially if you were focused on the idea of waking up. Stress, anticipation, or even setting an early alarm can make them more frequent. Your brain stays on alert, and that tension seeps into your dream content. The challenge with false awakenings is how real they feel, but there are subtle signs that can give them away, if you know to look for them. Lighting is often the first clue. It might be dimmer or harsher than usual, or the color or temperature feels wrong. Small details can also glitch. A clock that changes when you glance back at it, a mirror that doesn't reflect correctly, or objects that look oddly detailed or blurry up close. Some people report a heavy gravity-like sensation in their body, as if movement takes more effort than it should. Others notice sounds seem muted, distant, or unnaturally clear. Psychologist and dream researcher Alan Hobson noted that during REM, the brain prioritizes visual and emotional processing over fine motor control, which might explain these sensory quirks. The best tool? Reality checks. Counting your fingers, pinching your nose to see if you can still breathe, flipping a light switch. These simple tests can confirm whether you are awake or dreaming. When practiced regularly in waking life, they become second nature and far more likely to kick in during a false awakening. If you want a deeper dive on how to do them effectively, check out my video on reality checks. I'll leave a link in the description. Realizing you're still dreaming during a false awakening is like finding a hidden doorway. You can step right back into lucidity without waking up fully. The key is to stabilize immediately. Rub your hands together, touch the walls or furniture, or speak out loud. This is a dream. I'm here. Let's continue. These grounding actions help lock you into the dream environment. If you want to know more about stabilizing your dream, check out my video. I'll leave a link in the description below. False awakenings can be a launch pad for dream goals. Once you're grounded, set an intention, whether it's flying, exploring, meeting a dream character. The transition from a realistic wakening scene into a vivid, lucid dream can be incredibly smooth. Sleep researchers like Tora and Nielsen have suggested that false awakenings might happen when the dream is in a state of partial arousal, alert enough to mimic reality, but still in REM. This makes them uniquely stable starting points for lucid exploration because the mind is already close to full awareness. Catching false awakenings isn't about doing a perfect reality check once in a while, it's about making it second nature. If you get into the habit of checking your state every time you wake up, you dramatically increase your chances of spotting a false awakening. Even if it feels repetitive, that consistency pays off. Research on lucid dreamers has shown that those who routinely perform reality checks, especially immediately after waking up, are far more likely to recognize false awakenings. The reason is simple. When it becomes automatic, you don't give it the dream a chance to trick you. So the key isn't complexity, it's repetition. Treat every awakening as a potential dream, and sooner or later, you'll catch one. False awakenings remind us that the line between sleep and wakefulness is thinner than we think. When you learn to recognize them, you can step closer to mastering your dreams, turning uncertainty into opportunity. If you find this video helpful, please leave a like. It really helps the channel grow. And if you want to see more lucid dreaming content, consider subscribing. Sweet dreams, and I'll see you in the next one.